84 letters, 3 days. That's what it took for my new neighbor to file a report with Homeland Security on me. And yeah, that was literally the welcome wagon. I step outside, mug in hand, and there she is in my front yard. Bluetooth earpiece clipboard standing over my mailbox like it might explode. She's filming me live streaming to God knows who, narrating my move-in as if it's some kind of federal operation. Welcome to Willow Glen land of so-called peaceful neighborhoods community gardens, and apparently a homeowners association with more rules than the Pentagon. I moved here for peace. What I got was a war over envelopes. Let me back up a sec. I'm Miles Dalton, and I work in cybersecurity. I build systems to catch crooks, hackers, scammers. Been doing it so long, I see phishing emails in my sleep. Never in a million years did I think I'd be painted as the head of some criminal mail ring, especially by a neighbor who delivers compliance briefings on Facebook Live. But that's the story. You know what I mean? I thought maybe it was a one-off, some HOA busybody doing her rounds, but nah, where I landed, having your mailbox full more than 2 days puts you on the suspect list. I figured this is what happens in movies, not in real life, right? Next thing I know, she's counting how many pieces of mail I get every morning, clipboard clicking like a metronome. At first I thought she was just quirky nosy, every neighborhood's got at least one. But then she starts going through my trash, taking photos of packages, recording delivery schedules, and suddenly my so-called peaceful move is a full-on investigation. By day 3, I see her jotting down suspected criminal activity on her notepad. When she finally locks eyes with me, "Let me tell you, those eyes could freeze a river," she asks. "What's your name and why do you get so much mail?" I just laugh and say, "Guess I need a secretary more than a lawyer." What else are you supposed to say? Turns out her name is Brooke Ellison, 2 doors down, head of the HOA's so-called security committee. She's not just curious. She's got systems, a digital mail counter, laminated mail charts, the whole 9 yards. She shows me her chart, points out how I'm flagged in red. 17 pieces yesterday, 19 Friday, 14 the day before. Most people average 3 or 4, she says. You're operating in the commercial activity zone. She says we. But let's be real, it's just her. But in her head, she's got a whole team. I try explaining what I do. Cybersecurity work, government contracts, sensitive info that still comes in hard copy. Some stuff you just can't send by email, not with the breaches we see every day. But that doesn't slow her down. She whips out an official-looking folder, asks for my client list, income verification, business licenses. HOA needs to verify you're not running unauthorized commercial operations. Lady, I'm just trying to keep the world safe from hackers, not start a mail-based mafia. If you've ever dealt with an HOA, you know the script: veiled threats, community standards, a suspicion of anyone who walks to a different beat. Brooke steps it up, measuring tape out, snapping photos of packages, logging the distance from mailbox to door, even creating a surveillance file on me. I ask her what's up. She tells me. Community safety requires documentation of potential zoning violations. It's like she's auditioning for neighborhood CSI. Turns out she's not just stopping with me. Brooke starts canvassing, asking other neighbors to report if they've seen suspicious foot traffic or unusual deliveries at my place. She distributes flyers, professionally designed, of course, warning about potential mail fraud. They have my package photos right there, bold as day, and a little checkbox form. Have you seen anything unusual? Report to the HOA. It'd be funny if it wasn't my actual life. By the end of the first week, I realize my habit of installing security cameras isn't just paranoia. It's a survival tactic. Brooke isn't just a nosy neighbor, she's a one-woman surveillance state. And suddenly I'm documenting everything, time-stamped video logs of every conversation, screenshots, all of it. I tell myself maybe this is just her, an isolated case, but something in my gut says otherwise. I'm a threat analyst. This is what we call a persistent threat actor, and she's only just begun. Next morning, I see this LED board in Brooke's front yard. No joke, flashing mail count for 14B today, 19. Status under investigation. It's like a sports scoreboard, but for my mail. Kevin Marshall, her neighbor, sidles up to me and whispers, she calls it Project HOIs. Already got cameras at Gate 3. I realize this is beyond one person's weird hobby. She's recruited Kevin, an insurance guy with a flair for suspicion. Now it's a team effort. Brooke's live streaming my mail delivery narrating for the neighborhood's Facebook group, like she's David Attenborough day 12 of monitoring mail volume at 14B, 11 pieces by 10:15 a.m. If it wasn't about me, I'd be laughing. Jessica Torres, across the street, single mom, pulls me aside and whispers, "She once called the cops because my daughter blew a whistle at 5 p.m. Good luck." Turns out Brooke's complaint game isn't just for me. Anyone who doesn't fit her script, different lawn schedule toys in the yard, you name it, is a target. But Brooke's just warming up. She files a suspicious activity report with the post office about me, claims possible mail theft and fraud, submits formal complaints to the city, and urges the HOA to demand business documents. Even Kevin, her sidekick, starts to doubt her when she suggests installing a drone to monitor delivery trucks. She likes the drama more than the safety, he confides. That's when the HOA sends me a letter demanding documentation for my business and proof of zoning compliance. The president, Greg Morgan, seems uncomfortable, but Brooke's got him wrapped around her finger. So I kick into Cyber Pro mode, build a digital file of everything, every flyer, every photo, every weird conversation. I dig into the bylaws, privacy laws, zoning codes. I realize this isn't just an HOA problem, it's a privacy nightmare. Meanwhile, Brooke starts spreading her mail fraud awareness campaign to neighboring communities, sharing her surveillance case studies complete with photos of my mail warning others about potential criminal residents. She's basically crowdsourcing a witch hunt. Jessica becomes my ally, documenting Brooke's attempts to recruit informants and even getting neighbors to log when my lights go on and off. The twist. My cyber tools pick up unauthorized login attempts to the HOA database from Brooke's IP address. She's trying to hack into the resident records, financial data, HOA messages, fishing for dirt. I mean, this is next level. My address and now several others are being flagged on her scoreboard. My house becomes a local curiosity. People drive by, film her sign posted online. We're the mail counting house. Great. Everything hits the fan one Thursday at 6 a.m., pounding at my door, 3 cops. Detective Bennett out front, all business. And there's Brooke phone high, streaming the show. The detective tells me they've received complaints of mail fraud, stolen packages, identity theft, all backed by extensive documentation and surveillance. While I'm being grilled about my mail, half the neighborhood's watching from their lawns. Brooke's LED sign flashes "Investigation in progress," and her followers eat it up online. The police search my office, check my computers, interview me about every detail of my work. They post a red "under investigation" notice on my front door, urging neighbors to report anything suspicious. Public shaming right there in 2024. Some neighbors gossip, some are worried about property values. A few defend me, but Brooke's loving every minute. She's narrating to her phone using hashtags like "neighborhood safety turning my reputation into reality TV." Detective Bennett is thorough, but even she admits off the record that Brooke's files show more obsession than substance. My clearance checks out my business is legit, and in the end the police clear me completely. Bennett even warns me about harassment laws, tells me I can file complaints if this keeps up. As soon as the cops leave, Brooke updates her stream claims it's not over. Starts talking about new evidence. That red sign on my door? Someone adds their own graffiti. Mail fraud community threat. I've got camera footage, but Brooke has an alibi. Being cleared only fires her up. Brooke starts submitting anonymous complaints to my employer, to my certification board, even tries to contact my clients with security concerns. She files a $50,000 defamation suit, claims my HOA meeting exposed her to public ridicule, demands a restraining order. It's like the more she loses, the more she needs to win. And then the next plot twist, her own sister Diane reaches out to me. Diane explains that Brooke fell victim to a $15,000 mail scam years ago, never recovered, and now sees threats everywhere. Instead of healing, she's turned trauma into obsession, justifies everything by protecting the community. Knowing this makes it all make a little more sense, but it doesn't make it less dangerous. The neighborhood's a mess. Jessica builds a support network, but other residents just want it over. Some even push me to settle. But I know if I cave, she'll do it again to someone else. So I dig in, document everything, work with my attorney, file a motion to dismiss her lawsuit, ask for sanctions and attorney fees. I report her stalking to the cops, and thanks to Diane, arrange for Brooke to get therapy if she'll resign from the HOA and stay away from people she's targeted. The judge throws out her lawsuit with prejudice, orders her to pay my legal costs, and Brooke starts counseling. The HOA rewrites the rules: no more rogue surveillance, no more anonymous complaints without proof, new complaint process with outside arbitration. Jessica gets elected to the board, and suddenly we have actual community support. Margaret Ellison, Brooke's mom, visits me. She's a pro at conflict mediation, wants to use this disaster as a blueprint for fixing HOA drama everywhere. I start an online workshop, Digital Self-Defense for HOA Victims, and suddenly people from all over are sharing their own stories using my toolkit to push back against unreasonable neighbors. A few months go by, Brooke moves to a quieter place. Stays in therapy, seems to be getting better. Jessica and Emma are thriving. Agnes Riley, another neighbor Brooke targeted, tells me she feels safer now than ever. Property values actually rise. I get thank you notes from victims in other neighborhoods where Brooke pulled the same stunts. Turns out when you stand up to bullies, you help more people than you ever realize. Looking back, I see it the only way to deal with a bully is to fix the system that gave them power. Sometimes the fight isn't just for you, it's for everyone else down the line. When you build community on respect instead of suspicion, nobody counts your mail anymore except maybe you out of habit. And honestly, that's the kind of neighborhood I moved here for in the first place. So, let's open this up. Where do you stand on HOAs, neighbor disputes, and the whole idea of community safety? Ever dealt with something like this or seen things get this out of hand? Drop your take below. Do you think I did the right thing, or should I have handled it differently? Let's get real. What would justice look like to you?